Hi, I'm Tisiwanyeleti. I'm a healer through my bloodline with the calling of Istunya Sedlozi, and I channel guided messages for the collective self-healing, understanding, and growth. On this podcast, I focus on full and new moon readings, astrology transits, seasonal energy readings and updates, meditations, reflections to help decolonize your mind, and anything else I feel called to share. These will all rotate weekly, shared every Wednesday. I hope to connect you closer towards yourself and allow a space for expansion and alignment. Today, on the 25th of June 2025, we currently have a new moon in Cancer. And so in this episode, I will be doing a reading on the themes of this new moon, what is prompted and what we're embodying, as well as also doing a full reading on Cancer season, what it will bring, and what we should perhaps be aware of. I will also go into prompts for each astrology sign, and then tie it all in with affirmations. As always, I just like to preface that I draw in all of this information from the spirit realm, numerology, and astrology. So something to heavily highlight and start with is the fact that we have the Sun, Mercury, Jupiter, and the Moon all in the Cancer constellation currently, meaning we have a stellium, an intense concentration of energy in Cancer, the water sign of emotional force. Because the new moon is always the restart of the moon cycle, this is always a good time to reestablish what you want to embody and what you want to further attract into your life, your reality. So with this planetary concentration that we already have in Cancer, this new moon will definitely be amplifying those emotional and intuitive elements of water. Because of this, especially moving into next week, collectively we might feel heightened sensitivity to energy and your emotions. Cancer is also ruled by the moon, so that temperamental energy will definitely be present. But this is a really good opportunity to reconnect with your intuition and also all of that of the sacral chakra, which is the energy center of your inner child, of the subconscious mind, your emotionality, your sexuality, your sensuality, your fluidity, and your creativity. This new moon in Cancer is really setting the tone for Cancer season that already started like 5 days ago. So that energy is really asking you or inviting you to hold more space for yourself and for those foundations within yourself. More feeling, more truth, more intuitive awareness, and in knowing that there's so much that can be revealed to you during this time through your subconscious mind. This new moon in Cancer is an incredible opportunity to realign yourself with your desires, especially desires that have come from your inner child as well, especially because there is an alignment of Jupiter being in Cancer too, in its exaltation, operating at its most powerful expression, all that of luck and opportunity and abundance. I think especially within this week, the more you connect to your inner child and what drives you and brings you passion, the more you're able to get a clear vision and a clear emotion that can drive and assist you with whatever you're hoping to attract within your experience. It's just all of that aligning with just that huge cluster of those planets in Cancer. And again, specifically with Jupiter there. This new moon though is also prompting grounding because of how amplified and heightened everything will be and can feel. With Cancer being ruled by the moon and just pulling us into this emotional undercurrent. I think also because of this, it's quite important to just give yourself also the much needed compassion and continue to amplify the compassion towards yourself and towards others, as Cancer season will be having us feeling like we're treading below water, like just navigating like emotional depths, but coming out of this with a lot of growth. But yeah, just to clarify it, this new moon is a manifestation moon. But also with this new moon, we are feeling and we're becoming. And I think this is also a huge theme for the rest of Cancer season, which I will get into. But before that, I do want to bring forward some new moon prompts that I have for the qualities of the zodiac, which are also known as the modalities, which group up the specific signs into the way that they all express themselves and experience life. So with the cardinal signs, which would be Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, this new moon is prompting a sense of vigilance and just paying attention to any shifts around you and the synchronicities, but also knowing that it's important to move only when you feel it is intuitively right. And to just most importantly remain grounded. I think this new moon is just affecting specifically, like heavily, the cardinal signs a lot more, because obviously Cancer and then, the group that it's in, which is obviously cardinal, all those signs will be expressing and experiencing energy that same way. And so the question that kind of comes up for cardinal signs is, what are you ready to protect or prioritize? And where is your energy being pulled, and does it feel authentic to you? For the fixed signs, which are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, it has possibly become apparent that you're kind of like ending cycles. And I don't mean on like a collective level, I mean like individual karmic cycles. And so the question that comes up is, what patterns are you like finally ready to end? What do you feel deserves your liberation? For the mutable signs, which are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces, there has been a sense of avoidance. And so this new moon is inviting you to kind of confront what's been hidden. And so the question that comes up is, what emotions have you been avoiding? And where do you feel you need to move with more grace in order to open yourself up more? Now, in general, with Cancer season is already fragile and complex and temperamental, the same way that Cancer is. But with this karmic shift that we're in, which I had briefly gone into in the previous episode called episode 2, the karmic shift we're currently in, and a brief introduction to decolonising the mind, I did explain it there. And so because of that, those themes of just fragile and complex and temperamental are just intensified a lot more. Cancer season will bring subtle but permanent changes individually and collectively. There will be emotional unpredictability, and that will shape behaviors and actions that will play out even on a global scale. It will all be running on emotional unpredictability. But collectively, Cancer season will need to be approached with stillness and patience. And also to just pause, because Cancer season will bring fleeting periods of our hearts feeling quite heavy and weighed. But this is just showing us what no longer belongs in our emotional field, and what is essentially being invited to die from within. I feel it would be deeply supportive to just journal or document what you want to amplify within yourself and your life experience, because this can like really help you stay connected within yourself and stay centered and avoid getting pulled into the emotional tides Cancer season brings, and to just continue to go back to that throughout Cancer season. But yeah, the energy of Cancer season is just bringing and prompting grounded slowness and emotional depth and intuitive awareness. So I'm going to close this reading off with what Cancer season will bring for all of the qualities and the modalities, as well as general affirmations for this new moon. For the cardinal signs, Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, Cancer season is going to be the most emotional for you. It all feeling like really intense and unpredictable, yet transformative. It might feel like you're being swept away, but it's important to know that like things are actually clearing up. I think like even spiritually, like clearing up what no longer serves you, but just coming out of it with just so much awareness. It's kind of giving like the dark night of the soul vibes. Because of this, it's genuinely like a transition period, and just really needing to carry yourself with emotional resilience. Cancer season can feel like a purification of the self for cardinal signs. For the fixed signs, which are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, Cancer season will actually have you reviewing whether the emotional walls you have actually serve you, or whether they actually isolate you from the experience that you want to be having, from the experience that you deserve. It's kind of like, are you protecting your peace or are you avoiding intimacy? Are you detaching yourself a little bit too much because it feels safe to do so? And why is that? Inner child work will definitely rear its head in general for fixed signs. Because it's like, where does your inner child not feel safe? And why is this? What is it actually revealing? Yet again, it's important to acknowledge the emotional strength that you do have. For the mutable signs, that being Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces, Cancer season is having you longing or yearning for a sense of safety or a quote-unquote home that feels distant or maybe even unreachable. It's like gonna be having you like yearning for emotional safety, and with that comes also inner child wounds coming up, but not in the same way for the fixed signs. This is in a way more so to say that Cancer season is like guiding you towards finding that home within and not seeking it elsewhere, and knowing that it is reachable. Cancer season will bring mutable signs towards like returning back to the self. The inner child just feels displaced and unheard, and so it just kind of needs to be acknowledged and held. You might also just feel like you're out of place, but you're actually just recalibrating emotionally, energetically, and spiritually. Especially because mutable signs were feeling the full moon 2 weeks ago a lot more intensely compared to all the other signs. And so you might be in a little bit of a limbo of finding new meaning in place of that releasing of that emotional attachment that was no longer serving you, or emotional connection, or belief system that was no longer serving you, specifically from the full moon in Sagittarius. But now that made way for all that recalibration for now, for Cancer season. With the readings and the prompts for these signs, you can take what resonates and apply them to either your rising, your sun, or your moon sign. Although but because Cancer is ruled by the moon and there are emotional, unconscious themes associated with this new moon and Cancer season in general, I would apply it to the moon sign. In closing, I hope these following affirmations ground and guide you through this new moon and Cancer season. I trust my emotions and the truths they carry. I am open to new energy and experience. I am connected to the flow of life. My emotions reveal the wisdom I need. I am safe, I am guided, I am protected. Synchronicities happen to me all the time. I have everything I need to create my own opportunities. Happy new moon, and I hope you grant yourself the grace to move gently through Cancer season.